Hey everyone, welcome to my Finance 444 video practice problem guide here. I'm just going to be going over some practice problems here. To start things off, we have a simple transaction cost problem. The problem asks Mr. Smith buys 100 shares of stock and his brokerage firm charges a commission of $10 per transaction. And then we have Mr. Jones, who also purchases 100 shares of stock. We're also told that the continuous risk-free rate is 4% annually, and that Mr. Jones's brokerage firm charges a commission of 1% of each transaction amount. The current price of one share of stock is $18.94. The question asks us to calculate the profit for Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones, assuming they both sell all of their shares after 3 months. And the price of one share of stock at the end of 3 months is $23.15. So, start things off, we're just going to get some of our core variables here. To solve this problem. So we know that the stock at times 0 is equal to $18.94. That's when they purchase it at the start. Our stock price at time t is equal to $23.15. That's when they sell it at the end of 3 months. Our t is the 3 months, which is 1/4 of a year. And then we have our R, interest rate, which is 4%. So to solve this out, it's pretty simple. We just get our cost and payoff diagram down here. I'm going to label Smith here, and then Jones. So for our cost for Mr. Smith here, he purchased 100 shares of stock at $18.94 each, and then the brokerage firm charges an extra $10 for each transaction, and this totals $19.04. So we get to the payoff here. When Mr. Smith sells all of his stock at the end of 3 months, he's selling 100 shares at $23.15, and now we're going to be subtracting $10 out, which is going to equal $23.05. So the hardest problem with these kind of questions is going to be just knowing how to calculate the transaction cost. Are you going to be adding? When are you going to be adding? When are you going to be subtracting? The easiest way to remember is that you're always going to be getting the short end of the stick. So when you're buying, you're going to be buying for more, and when you're selling, you're going to be getting less. You're always going to be getting screwed when you're dealing with a brokerage firm transaction cost. So when we're buying with this cost, we're adding to it with the 10, and when we're selling, they're taking off 10, so we're getting less out of it. Now, to calculate the profit, we have to factor in the time value of money. We understand that we have this 1904 at the very start, and that this is compounding continuously. So the continuous interest rate accumulated value form is our original cost, 1904, times e to the power of 1/4, 0.25, times 0.04, which is really just 1904 e to the power of 0.01. And we put that into our calculators, we get 1923.14. So the total profit after all of this is going to be these two subtracted, which is 381.86 for Mr. Smith. So we're going to do Mr. Jones here now. He purchases 100 shares at $18.94 each. Multiply that by 1.01 because we're adding the extra 1% for the commission. That equals 1912.94. And here for the payoff, we have that he's selling 100 shares at $23.15 each. And since we're going to be subtracting 1% out because we're selling, we're going to be multiplying it by 0.99. That gives us 2291.85. There should be an equals here. Now, we're just going to be taking the cost to its future value here, which is 1912.94. Remember our e to the RT, so e to the RT, which as we figured out before is 0.01. Putting this into a calculator, we get 1932.17. So we just subtract this out to get our profit, which is 349.78. So pretty easy to solve out.